Hello everybody, Voltrap here, doing another game. Of course, this is the third game between Light and Rumble. If you haven't seen the last two, you might want to go back and check that out. And they were pretty interesting games. This is, again, World Cyber Games Korea. By the way, I did say in Game 1, accidentally, that the Grand Finals were going to be in Berlin. I was wrong. They're going to be in Cologne, Germany. That's Cologne. Yeah, so that's Light on the left and Rumble on the right. We've seen, well, not the best play out of these players, either one of them. I think Rumble has not played as well. Rumble's played the worst, is my point. He hasn't played very well, so I'm expecting Light to come out, even though this is Blue Storm. This is the new Blue Storm, which hasn't really shown itself to be very biased against, very biased for Zergs, and so I'm expecting Light to come out with the win on this one. Light is going to be in the bottom left here, and red, and Rumble's going to be in the top right-hand corner in teal. And last game, for instance, Rumble, he went for a very, very aggressive build, went for a very quick 9-pool speed lane build. And I'm really surprised that Light didn't do something to expect it. It wasn't like a 5-pool or anything like that. It was a 9-pool, and the Lings, he delayed a little bit. And you know what? I just thought he may have been waiting for speed upgrade. That may have been why he delayed. Because I remember he got his Lings outside of Light's base, and then he delayed. He pulled them back and didn't go in, and he barely pulled them back in time for Light to not see it with an SCV that was running around. So maybe that's what he was doing, was waiting for the speed upgrade. But he ran in there, and Light was just building a command center, and he hadn't scouted it, and so he wasn't able to get SCVs on his ramp quite in time, and his ramp got broken, and basically he was just way too far behind economically after that. Game 1, Rumble also took an early advantage because Light kind of overcommitted his forces and got his first initial force destroyed. And so Rumble had an economic advantage there too, except then he kind of squandered it. And I guess he expected Light to be defensive, and he expanded all over the damn map, and he teched up, got his hive, he was getting an ultralisk cavern. It didn't pay off though, because Light was actually building units and just overran him. So really, it's kind of Rumble's game here. He's going to have to, I mean, if he plays some sort of... He seems to do okay in the early game, but he then screws it up. And he almost screwed it up against Light, even though the only reason he won is because he had 4 bases to 1 by the end, and it was just way too much of an advantage, even for Rumble to squander. And so it's going to be up to Rumble to do, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It looks like a 12 pool going down. No, I'm sorry. I totally wasn't paying attention. The hatchery went first. So 12 hatch build here. Pretty standard econ build. We'll probably see him. Well, it'll be interesting to see what he does. A lot of times, Zerg players these days, they're making. Uh-oh, what's going on at the north? It looks like he's got a drone or something. Oh, never mind. That's just his overlord. For some reason, he's sending his overlord across the north. Well, I guess he's just going to try and get it in a good position for later, maybe. What was I saying? Okay, Light putting down a quick command center now. Could be a little risky. It looks like Rumble has spotted that. There's no way he shouldn't have spotted it. Light now putting down a second barracks inside of his base. Going 1 racks into command center, pretty common these days. It's been kind of developed, like the build has been developed a lot, so it's pretty safe for the most part these days, unless your opponent does something crazy. But he obviously has an SCV in Rumble's base, and that's why he was able to know that it was going to be safe to do that. So now that SCV is going to get tracked down, though. I was going to get forced to run away. He might be able to catch it, actually, before it gets back to his base. But he is going to have to be careful, though. Light's going to have to be careful, I mean. He's going to have to... and I like... That's pretty smart, actually, leaving up that blockade. In the meantime... Ooh, quick evolution chamber going down. Interesting. So he's getting an evolution chamber already. A lot of times that what that'll indicate, well, is the first option um, is that he's going to be just wants to get his +1 carapace going as quickly as possible, so that or maybe +1 weapons for his lurkers, so that they can two-hit the Marines or something like that. Or he may want to get carapace, so that, +1 carapace is pretty good against unupgraded Marines, actually, because Marines are only doing a few points of damage, and if you're able to knock off one of those points of damage from a point of carapace, that extremely limits their effectiveness. So yeah, that's a possibility. Other times you actually see them put down an early evolution chamber if they're going for like an Ultralisk build, like a late game Ultralisk build, because then they'll want to get their carapace up as quickly as possible, so they can get their chitinous plating upgrade, and then it's ridiculous, because if you can get early Ultralisks, the Terran only has like +1 weapons, and if you can get that, it's a +2 armor upgrade for the Ultralisks, so then the Ultralisks have like 3 or 4 armor, and that is ridiculous against, +1 Marines are only doing half damage against that much armor, so that is extremely effective as well. That's another reason sometimes why you see players get that really early carapace. So another possibility, we'll see. It doesn't look like it's going to be a little while until he can get that going anyway. He's only got 2 bases right now. It doesn't look like he's setting up for a third, which is curious. Usually by now you'd see the Zerg setting up for a 3rd base, unless he's going for a little bit quicker tech. But he's going to have to do something pretty quick here, because Light is moving out of his base with a small medic marine force, and that's enough of a medic marine force. Okay, so he's got the lurkers out going at least, so he's at least not going to be rushing for Ultralisks. I don't think he's going to have lurkers out in time for this attack. I'm pretty sure he's not. He's only got a couple Sunkens, and at this point, this medic marine force is plenty enough to kill those few Zerglings and those 2 Sunken colonies. This looks pretty bad, and especially if he gets a Firebat coming as reinforcement. No, he's not. Actually, no. There's no reinforcements coming, so he could also just be putting pressure on Rumble. Is the other thing. Oftentimes the Terrans will just send out a force just to scare them, make them put down those Sunkens, make them build Zerglings, make them spend money on that sort of thing, which then they're not going to be able to spend on Mutalisks or extra hatcheries or anything like that. So it looks like that may have been what Light was doing. And at this point, I think he may have too many. Yeah, he's got too many Zerglings actually for Light to be able to go in against those Sunks now. Anyways, and it looks like Rumble might be trying to just catch that force before they can get back to their base. Actually, he's got a lot of Zerglings. Their speed upgrade, and he's chasing them down. And he might go in. He is going to go in. He's going to go in. He tries to surround. No, there's way too many there. And actually, I think they spotted those Firebats, and that's what caused him to fall back. Because those 2 Firebats alone would take out many Zerglings. And Rumble, basically, he didn't have the advantage anymore because of those reinforcements coming in for Light. So Light looks like he's going into sort of macro mode here, getting down some more barracks. He's probably looks like he's just going to go off 2 bases. When he does eventually push out, he'll probably get a 3rd base. But for the moment, he's just going to try and go off 2 bases, especially since he knows that Rumble doesn't have terribly many bases right now. Yeah. Okay, so that one's a starport, not a barracks. Good. Floating the factory now, so he's obviously not going to go for any kind of tank push. He's just going to go straight for science vessels, it looks like, and spend all of his gas on science vessels. It's kind of a very late Spire. What the hell? He's getting a... Okay,